Hello, welcome to Block 2, Solving Problems with Multiplication and Division. Lesson 11. I'll share my screen. So, in your previous lesson, you learned how to do division of decimals, and you extended your learning to involve solving equations that involved division of decimals. And also, you learned how to apply your learning to solve word problems where it involved doing some financial calculations that involved, of course, our money system usually involves two digits, decimal places. Before we start, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video to children you think might benefit or parents of children you think might benefit, and click on the notification bell so that when new videos are released, you will be notified. By doing this, you would help us grow our mission to provide a platform where children can learn regardless of their economic circumstance and have high quality maths education. Thank you. Before we start, I would like you to answer these retrieval practice questions in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. Here you were asked to use counters to represent 6 times 2. So if you remember one of our lessons, we always present the counters in columns by row, column by row, column by row. So this means we need 6 columns by 2 rows. So 6 columns of 2. Yeah, 6 columns of 2. So 6 by 2. Here is going to be 3 columns of 7. Okay, so the columns, all right, so 3 by 7. Okay, so next one you're asked to write, but what I need to say is in some, like in this one, you can see that is showing three rows by column, 3 by 7. So sometimes some people swap it around, but the ideal way of writing it a lot of the time is row by column, row by column. So this one, this blue one here. So if I were to write this will be 2 by 6. So this will be 2 by 6, 2 rows by 6. Okay. So this one you can see is 3 rows by 7. So this should be proper way of writing this. If I were to write the number, will be 2 rows by 6. So I'll write it the other way around. But remember, multiplication is commutative. So we'll go with that. Now, here you're asked to write the less than, greater than, or equal to complete the statement. So 5 adds 7. And then here you have, we asked to put the symbol here, the relational symbol. That should be equal because remember, addition is commutative. So we simply just swapped around the numbers. Our answer remains the same. Here, you can see that 10 subtract 7 add 5 is less than 10 subtract 5 add 7. Okay? So 10 subtract 7 is 3. 3 add 5 is 8. 10 subtract 5 is 5. 5 add 7 is 12. So that is greater than 8. All right. Let's do some new learning. Now, looking at this calculation, which diagram represents 3 add 2 multiplied by 4? Which one would you choose that properly represents how this calculation should be done? Have a think. Well, it's this one. So this means 3 add 2 multiplied by 4. But you may be wondering, why have we done it that way? Why not this one? This brings us to what we'll be doing today, which is called order of operations. Okay, so order of operations in some parts of the world, or in, some people refer to it as BIDMAS. Okay. So I want you to have this word in your mind, and I'll tell you what each of these letters mean and how we use them. But something you need to know is we chose this one because of what we know, or what I know about order of operations. This one here can be represented as this. So what does it mean? I have 3, I have 2, adding 2 to it, and then I need to multiply it by 4. So I have 4 rows of it. Okay, let's now start using what we call order of operations, or BIDMAS. So which part of the calculation should you do first? What do you think? Now, assuming I haven't told you anything about order of operations or what you need to do, which part of the calculation would you do first? Well, we use something, this pyramid, to know which order of operations we do. So take note of where BIDMAS comes from. So this is brackets. So you would see we're going to form the word BIDMAS. So anytime we have calculations, if we see brackets in there, we have to do it first. This is indices. So the I, so take note, we're trying to form we're trying to form that. So the I, this one, so we've done this one, the I stands for indices. Now, the inverse of indices is roots, which is this one here. Indices, if you remember one of our lessons, is when you have things like this. So if you have, for example, you have a little number on top of something, that's indices. For example, 2 squared is 2 index 2. That's how you read it. That's equal to 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So these have the same preference in a calculation, or the same order of operation in a calculation. So if we have indices in a calculation, we have to do indices first before we do any of these. This one is multiplication and division. So to multiply and to divide. Okay? They both have the same order of operation in a calculation. Then this one is, the last one is add and subtract. So they both have the same order of operation. So I want you to take note of these when we start doing our calculations. Most people like to use this BIDMAS. It's easier for them to remember. But you can memorize this pyramid if you want to. Okay, let's move on. So knowing what we know, we can see that we're going to have to do this one first, which is the multiplication, because multiplication is higher up, or you can see we do multiplication first before we do addition and subtraction. So for BIDMAS, we start from the left. So we start looking at our calculations to see which of these come first, and we start from the left. Okay, so we know we're going to do the 5 multiplied by 2 first, and then once we finish that, before we add the 4, so our answer will be 14. What about this one? Now, you can see that they are on the same. If you look at BIDMAS, remember I said always remember BIDMAS. These are the last, and they have the same order. If they have the same order, we can simply just do the calculation from left to right. We don't have to say I have to do addition first or subtraction first. Okay, so in this case, we'll just do 6 subtract 5, which is 1. 1 add 3 is 1 add 2 is 3. Okay, you have now done some learning. You now know what order of operation means. You know that you have to use BIDMAS to look at your calculations, all right, to see which of the calculations you need to do first. So remember, BIDMAS, the B stands for bracket, the I stands for either you're doing indices or roots. If you have those in a calculation, you do it first. bracket takes preference before them. You have division and multiplication. They have the same order. And then addition and subtraction. Okay? All right. Pause the video and answer questions 1 and 2 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered questions 1 and 2, here are the answers. So for the first one, you were asked, explain how the counters illustrate 6 add 2 multiplied by 4. So here we have 6, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you add in 2, yeah? 2 rows by 4 columns. 2 rows by 4 columns. All right. Then work out this one. So you have to do this before you add 6. So 2 times 4, why? Because we know BIDMAS, we have to do multiplication or division first before we do addition. So we do 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 add 6 is 14. This one, which part of the calculation did you do first? Of course, this one. Here is the answer to question 2. Which diagram represents 2 add 7 index 2? All right, this means 7 index 2. So 7 index 2 means 7 times 7. Okay, so this calculation represents it because remember you do index first, which is this one. You can see this is 49, 7 by 7, and then you add 2 to it. All right, here you're asked to fill in the gaps in the diagram with operations in order of their priority. Discuss why the operations in the row indicated by the arrow have equal priority. All right. All right. They have equal priority. So here is the answer. Question 3. They have equal priority because of what we know about order of operations. So in any calculation, you do multiplication and division, they have equal priority. And then here are the order of operations. So you could have used BIDMAS to think about what we've done to complete this pyramid. All right. Pause the video and answer question 4 in 4 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 4, here are the answers. So mark your work and celebrate your success. And look at how we've applied BIDMAS to do these calculations. So we'll do multiplication first here. Here we do division first. Here we do indices first because remember, you know, when you look at your pyramid or BIDMAS, okay, we do this first. There is no bracket, so we have this first. This takes priority over multiplication and division. Yeah, so we do this first, then whatever we get, so we do 7. This is now 9. Okay, so I advise you, whenever you're doing this, write your calculation in steps so that you won't make mistakes. Now we do 9 times 2, which is 18. 18 adds 7. So this first, 7 plus 18, that's 25. Here, we have to do this one first. Why? Remember, I explained to you that the inverse of index is root. So index and root have the same priority. So we're going to have to do that before we do division. So here, roots, so you do 9. This is 4. Roots of 16 is 4. We divide by 2. Now, remember, multiplication and division have the same priority. Yeah? So it doesn't matter. We'll just do it from left to right. So 9 times 4 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. So it doesn't matter. Yeah? This one, we do the bracket first. Okay? And then we multiply by 5. This one, of course, it doesn't matter. You can just do it from left to right. 36 divided by 12 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Let's move on. Let's do some new learning. If we're asked to work this out Of course, by now, you should know that we're going to do indices first. You know BIDMAS by now. So we do 2 squared, which is 4, and then we do our multiplication next. Remember, multiplication has precedence over subtraction. And then we'll have 80 subtract 8, which is 72. Let's look at another example. In this one, again, thinking about BIDMAS, thinking about BIDMAS, I need to rub that off. That's my... Thinking about BIDMAS, okay? So we do that one first. Why? Bracket comes first. And even looking at if you're using the pyramid, you would see that that comes first. So you do 10 add 2 first, which is 12, and then you divide by 3. Sometimes, and this takes us to our last example for the lesson, sometimes you'll be given calculations where you're required to put brackets in the correct places for the calculation to be correct. Why is that important? If I just look at this calculation and I use BIDMAS to do it, my answer won't be 43. They want us to put brackets in the correct place so that the answer should be 43. So, because looking at the calculation using BIDMAS, we'll have to do this one first, right? So that's 15. Yeah, so it's now 18 minus 15 add 4. 18 minus 15 is 3. 3 add 4 is 7. So that is not right. So we have to put brackets in the correct place. Doing problems like this require you to really think about the numbers, to do some trial and error to work, see where brackets would fit in. But it's already been done for you, so you have time to practice. So for this one, the bracket should go there. Why? 18 subtract 5 is 13. 13 times 3 is 39, and then 39 add 4 will be 43. This one, sometimes thinking about the numbers carefully would help you know where the bracket should go. So 18 subtract 19 will be -1. So we need to think, okay, would these 3 numbers actually give us 19? Of course they would. Why? 5 times 3 is 15. 15 add 4 is 19. So the brackets could go there. It's now time for you to practice. Well done for sticking around and for learning. So pause the video and answer question 5 in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So question 5, you were asked to explain the mistakes that have been made in these calculations and work out the correct answer. So here, 11 add 2 was calculated first. Of course, it should have been done with BIDMAS. That should have been done first. Here, so the calculation was done from left to right. It should be done using the BIDMAS, approach. So you do that multiplication first, do that one next before you add them. Here, the indices was ignored. So it's not 12 divided by 2 first. It should be squared first before you now do 12 divided by 4. So you do that one first before you do 12 divided by 4. Pause the video and answer questions 6 and 7 in 2 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered questions 6 and 7, here are the answers. So here you were asked, Annie is working out 6 subtract 5 add 2 subtract 3. Yeah, 6 minus 5 plus 2 minus 3. So here she says, I do the adding first, 5 plus 2 equal to 7. So 6 minus 7 minus 3 is equal to -4. What mistake has Annie made? Well, the mistake Annie has made is, remember, we said, or we've learned, that subtraction and addition have the same preference in a calculation. It's the same thing as multiplication and division. So if we have them in a calculation, we can just simply do the calculation from left to right. We don't really need to give preference to anyone by doing one first. So by Annie doing 5 add 2, she's giving preference to addition over subtraction. She should just do it from left to right. Next, complete the calculations. So here we need to do multiplication first, do the next multiplication, and then add our result. So 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 8 is 24. 20 add 24 is 44. And then here, you need to do the brackets separately. So 5 subtract 2 is 3. 10 subtract 7 is 3. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1. Pause the video and answer questions 8 and 9 in 3 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. Okay, so here you were required to insert brackets in the correct place to make the answers correct. And then here you were asked to work out the calculation. So you do the multiplication first, you do the other multiplication, and then you add them. Last question. Pause the video and answer question 10 in 2 minutes. All right. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. Okay. So here you were simply asked to use these to complete the calculation. Okay. So it's just playing with the signs to see, okay, which ones would I add? And then in the end, when I multiply, and it will be equal to 100. Okay. And these are the answers. Okay. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. So well done for sticking around and for learning. What we've learned so far is we have learned about order of operations, which I suggest that you use BIDMAS. So B stands for brackets, I for indices or roots, D and M for division and multiplication. They have the same preference, the same order of operation. So if you have the same in a calculation, you do them just from left to right. And then you have addition and subtraction, which have also the same order. So if you have addition and subtraction in a calculation, you simply just do the calculation from left to right. Well done for sticking around and for taking your learning seriously. Until next time, take really good care of yourself, and bye-bye.